Welcome to the John Sue and Michael Rosmer's video battlethon, inspired by Gary Vaynerchuk. Today's topic, we're going to talk about how life is not about learning, but it's actually about experiencing. And today's video is for people who are always trying to live better lives, but they realize that that's a gerbil wheel, never-ending way to live life. That nothing's ever going to be good enough. Nothing's ever going to be enough to make you content. No matter who you are, you're always wanting more, better, this and that. A lot of people say, learn your life lessons. But have you ever tried to do anything the right way only to realize that that was right at the time, but that's not the right way. That was just one way to do things. And until you learned many different ways to do it, and more specifically, the wrong way to do something, you realize, oh my God, this is actually how, something's about, right? Like, for example, the right way to go to school. You know what? You go to kindergarten, go to grade 12. That's the right way to go to school. But for those of us who kind of took the years off and worked and saved up some money and had some good times, partied up, lived a life, we had way funner times than those nerds or those kids who went from kindergarten to grade 12 straight to university, right? And now they're like emotionally brittle, and they're emotionally brittle adults in life where, we might not be as far, career-wise or educationally as them, but we lived our lives and were much more emotionally strong as adults, more balanced, you would say, than those kids who went to school. So what am I getting at? Okay, life is not about learning, but it's about experiences. What's the difference between the two? The key difference between what learning a life lesson is versus experiencing a life lesson is like the difference between reading a book on how to ride a bike and actually riding the bike. So for example, you ever get, say for example, real estate investing. If you invested at the right time and you made great money, you would think real estate is the best investment, everything else is crap, because that's what my life experience is about. That's a life lesson about real estate. But is that the true 360 experience of real estate? That you always make money and that is the best investment out there? It's correct for some people, but it's not the entire truth. Because there's also a lot of people who have lost money in real estate and have never recovered. And those who have experienced real estate investing from both the good and the bad side, they really get real estate. They understand how it actually works, what can happen and what can't happen. And they have a more broad overview of, real estate investing, right? That's life experience as opposed to a life lesson. Life lesson is just a chapter in the book. A life experience is the book. Another thing, life lesson about, say, finding your passion. A lot of people think, oh, finding your passion is about being authentic and making everything about you, and who cares what other people say, and breaking out of that victim mentality. That's what most of these self-help courses promote. This victim mentality of stop listening to society, stop being a victim to society. And what they're saying is quite accurate, but it's not the whole story. Right? Because people who live lives that are driven by other people, you know what? That's a tough way to live, and you do feel like a victim. Like you've been controlled by other people. And then you have the other side of the coin where these people who never live for others, these really selfish people who kind of lived by their own rules, play their own rules. They could be criminals, entrepreneurs, or one kid families, where they're really solid in themselves, but they lack that understanding of the outer world, of how to interact with the outer world, right? Because they're so involved in themselves. That's another life lesson. The life lesson of finding yourself, the life lesson of being lost and not knowing yourself, but the life experience of finding finding yourself, and also experiencing and understanding how to interact with the world. That's a life experience, right? And that's something you can't learn in a book, something you can't teach. You need to get out in the world and experience these crazy people, because you know what? There's a lot of crazy people out there. There's also a lot of pretty cool people. But you need to experience both to realize that the world has both those people, not just crazy and not just cool. So going back to, life lessons versus life experiences. Life lessons will only teach you a fraction of the information, but a lot of people live their lives according to that one chapter. Only to be, and there's stuff like being traumatized or being, how do we say, optimistic or being super positive. It's a very narrow way to live, but people think that it's the most enlightening or smartest way to live when it's far from that. It's just one chapter of the life experience. Life lessons are just one way roads, one way understandings of things, and it's not what you're looking for. Think about it. Being a parent, is it all good in the hood or is it also bad? Right? Kids are cute, don't get me wrong, but they also cry, shit, whine, bitch, and talk back. Giving birth, quite an amazing experience. Thank God I never have to experience that because I'm a man. But you talk to women. Some women love it, some women hate it. But if they actually took to really think about giving birth to a child, it's both a negative and positive experience in one. It's kind of all of those things mixed in one, right? Like a very compiled emotional interpretation. So drive towards trying to have these life experiences and don't fall, I guess, a victim to living a life lesson as a life experience, because they are totally different things. And one is pretty much just a chapter in the book, where the other one is the book. So live life experiences instead of life lessons.